Hello listeners, patients, and or Clear Mind employees. Lucian Donahue here. I don't often thank others. I have little need for such matters. However, it should be noted that the following patrons are worth mentioning. Peter Viviano, Willow, Michaela Jansen, Laura, Alexa Lynn, Kelly Harlan, Timothy O'Keefe, Yanai Ravid, Alex Peltier, and I Have No Standards. If you want to be a person whose name leaves my lips, consider joining them on our Patreon. You could also earn my affection by sharing this podcast with others, or in the very least, you could give us a good rating. Links in the description. So please, enjoy the show, and do remember to stay safe and stay sane. Dark Papers Entertainment presents The Patient Files, Season 2, Episode 6, Railroaded. This is Lucian Donahue, recording for personal records. I have to keep my notes short here. Eli is currently using the facilities and I am in the car. His mood has drastically improved, as expected, although I still have some worries, as his newfound pacifism could be a problem. If he were to die before reaching Olin, that would make my success more unlikely. Despite this, however, accepting him as he is has instilled more trust in me, which I will need. Eli aside, I am both elated and frustrated on the Olin front. Of course, having contact with him is grand. It was sheer good luck that the battery damaged the spell work the way it did. I would love to say that it was intentional, but sometimes things just work out. It would have been not ideal if Olin saw me on the other end, but the fact we are being sent on errands is rather annoying. Smart on his end, though, trying to verify who we are based on how we deal with his little tasks. That's another thing. When taking care of the dogman, I left the laptop in the car. Yet, when we finally reconnected with Olin, he was not only aware that the dogman had been taken care of, but the fact that we had to put it down. So the question remains, how? More importantly, how can he know all of that but not know who did it? Could he be lying about the spell's functions? I wonder if he...
They only have peanut butter energy bars. Is that okay? A recorder? What are you doing?
Just making personal notes.
About what?
That's rather rude, isn't it? I don't ask what you're writing in your diary.
True, but...
We should go over the case again. Make sure we didn't miss anything.
Fair point. I really wasn't paying attention the first time.
Make sure to enter both of our names.
Yeah, I remember. Ready?
Always.
Dr. Gavin Olin, recording for personal records. Moonville Tunnel, MacArthur, Ohio, USA. Mild level of interest. No immediate concern. As with most popular tourist attractions, Moonville Tunnel most likely doesn't pose any real threat to the average person. There's a significant chance that the paranormal or special isn't present at this local haunted location. However, it should not be ruled out. A few apparitions or unexplained sounds isn't much of a concern to clear minds. Yet I worry. Those who have encountered true paranormal entities or situations could be more at risk. The more encounters one has, the more places like these can be dangerous. Should an experienced person visit Moonville Tunnel, well, an average person might see or hear something. I stress, might hear. Others, more sensitive or experienced, could interact with these spirits. A ghost train, normally harmless, could flatten said persons. My worries may be unfounded. So far, nothing verifiable like that has happened. Personal record end. Recording end.
Not much to go on here.
Agreed. Spirits and the like are tricky.
At least you can't throw a dagger at one.
Don't start. We talked about this. You may not be willing to take a life, but if it comes down to it, I will protect you and myself, and if that means killing, so be it.
And I appreciate that. I'm just saying it's good that you don't have to.
Right then. We should get going. Let's check in our hotel. I think it's wise to do some independent research tonight. If possible, try to contact your father again. Perhaps now that we are closer to Moonville Tunnel, he might be able to offer some insight.
Okay, I'll put on my...
Nope, we listened to your music the entire drive. I'm putting my playlist on.
Fine. Lucian! The lobby has a breakfast bar! We are so hitting that up tomorrow! I hope they serve pancakes.
How exciting.
Don't be salty.
I'm not, and even if I were, it would be justified. I have been doing research for the past 3 hours. You have been exploring the hotel and God knows what else.
That was your choice. And who was it that told me to always be aware of my surroundings? I could have sworn I had multiple lessons about knowing the lay of the land or always having an exit strategy. Now, who drilled that into me?
How dare you use my own training against me? Fine, you win. Learn anything interesting?
The hotel has a breakfast bar?
Very productive, little one. I, on the other hand, learned quite a bit.
Lay it on me.
First, the place has a typical history of a haunted location. Built in 1856 and operated until the early 20th century, some farmer let a railroad company build through his land. His idea, actually. Soon after, a small community popped up not far from the tracks. That community being Moonville.
Who would want train tracks going through their property?
Someone who wants to move clay and coal deposits off his land, apparently. At its peak, Moonville had about 100 residents, but 23 saloons.
That's a lot.
Quite so. They would prove to be fatal in a way. Plenty of drunks crossing the lines at the wrong time. Additionally, there are other apparitions that are common. A lady looking for a fiancé is a popular one. There was a man who died in 1880, I believe. A mix-up in communication caused 2 trains to collide head-on. But the one I think we need to look out for is the Chillicothe man, I believe. An engineer or brakeman of sorts. The story is unclear, and the accounts vary. No matter his origin, however, one thing is consistent. An 8-foot-tall man, and I quote, with eyes that glisten like balls of fire. He is dressed in dirty overalls, he swings a glowing lantern, and when seen lets out a blood-curdling scream. He is often sighted at the entrance of the tunnel.
That doesn't sound like a friendly ghost. Although, he could be trying to, warn people.
Oh, although the accounts are rare, we should be careful of a train.
Dad did say that people with experiences could get flattened. I'm pretty sure that includes us. Speaking of Dad, did you try reaching out yet?
No, I figured you'd want to be here for that. Shall we?
Yeah. How do you think the computer knows when we want to talk to Dad versus when he sends us files?
Good morning, H. Gray. Wait. You're in Ohio? Good evening. Judging by what time it is there, I'm assuming you're either calling from a hotel or right before entering Moonville Tunnel. In either case, I assume you're needing more information. Alright, okay, let's see. Let's see here. Okay, these files aren't really what we're looking for here. The Vampire Venice, while interesting, you're nowhere nearby, so, here we are, Moonville Tunnel. Moonville Tunnel. Well, most of the spirits sighted there are residual hauntings, meaning they're on a loop, so it's unlikely they will respond to anything you do. Which, of course, means you are relatively safe from them. One way to deal with these types of hauntings is to break whatever cycle they're in, help them across the tracks, and so on. Still, be careful. Considering your experience, they might as well be solid. As far as the more, let's just say, autonomous ones, that's a bit more difficult. Iron can disrupt some spirits. It won't kill them per se, but it could buy you time. These ones are more tricky to deal with. It may involve settling unfinished business. Lastly, you may have to deal with an obsessed spirit, or in other words, spirits that have some sort of fixation. A person, an object, an event, something along those lines. These are the most tricky in my opinion. Obsession in the living is hard enough to break, but the dead? It's not so simple. Their fixation may no longer exist in the material world, but as far as they are concerned, it's still very real. Sadly, there are no hard rules for dealing with such spirits. On that note, there isn't any for every kind of haunting. You'll simply have to feel it out and improvise. My advice, I know, is vague, and for that I do apologize. Nevertheless, I hope this helps. Feel free to close the laptop if you're in a rush. If not, I would like to offer my condolences. I know I said this last we spoke, but I am truly sorry for putting you in the position I did with the Dogman. There was no easy answer there, and you made the right call. And I want to apologize for this mission as well. I know you have a checkered past with spirits. However, I am confident with how you've grown. You can do this. All right, I need to go. I believe my order is up. Good luck, H. Gray. Conversation end.
That wasn't much help. Better than nothing, I suppose.
Do you ever feel like knowing all these details ruins the surprise?
The surprise? Are you joking? Why would we want to be surprised?
I'm just saying.
Well, don't. I think that's enough talking shop. My eyes open before the alarm even goes off. I take a moment to push past the fog and reorganize my thoughts. I smile. Last night went well. Our research dug as far as we needed, I think. Any more would just be scraping the bottom of the barrel. I quickly learned last night that tourist traps are full of false reports and over-exaggerations drummed up by tour companies. So, instead of going down that rabbit hole further, I capitalized on Eli's bright mood. I made sure to stay away from any talk about the case, about his dad, and about training. The night was spent eating god-awful snacks and watching trash TV. Of course, I made an effort to make light-hearted and clever comments, which always seemed to get a laugh or an "oh my god" from him. The aim being that I wanted him to see me more than just a teacher or a mentor. I need him to regard me as a friend. Better yet, to view me as family. It'll take more work, but it was a solid start.
5 more minutes, then... Pancakes!
How do you have so much energy this early?
Lucian, get up! I don't want to miss the breakfast bar!
Calm down, little one. We still have 3 hours until we...
Well, it takes you 3 hours to get ready.
All right. I'm getting up. With an hour to spare, we now stood before the breakfast bar. It is little more than a counter with cheap coffee and a few make-your-own waffle and pancake stations. Despite this, you would guess it was Christmas the way Eli's face lit up. He gobbled up plate after plate with a wide smile and idle conversation. I nod along and allow him to be excited. We have until nightfall, after all, before we can press on with the case. Eli suggests we explore the town. Even though there is little to actually do, Eli rushes from mundane site to site, all the while displaying a level of excitement I have yet to see in him. It's rather amazing how easily he can be entertained, or perhaps his childlike wonder is a result of being stuck in an apartment for an extended period of time. No matter the reason, it's refreshing. Before we knew it, night was nearly upon us, and we made our way to the Moonville Tunnel. We waited around for some time for the tourists in groups to clear out. Even then, we wait a few hours to be sure we are alone.
Okay, I think we should be good.
Quite right. Remember, should things get dicey, we do have iron daggers.
Right, let's go.
I make my way out of our hiding place behind a few trees and brush. Eli is close on heel. The September air is gently resting on my skin and bringing with it a soft chill. I move slowly and choose not to use my flashlight, partly in case anything living is still lurking nearby, and partly not to disrupt any of the nearby dead. I stop just outside the entrance and hear Eli do the same just behind me. The tunnel is no more or less creepy than any other. Moonville was carved into the concrete brick above us. Graffiti covers nearly every inch of the stonework. On either side is forestry and a hill that steeply rises. I strain my ears. Was that a spirit, or the wind bouncing off the brick walls? My heart quickens slightly and I can feel adrenaline slowly releasing throughout my body. I'm afraid? Fascinating.
You think that was...
No idea. Could just be the wind. Let's press on. I take a step forward confidently, and then I take another, and another. Surprisingly, my fear does not subside, but rather only heightens. What does this mean, I wonder? When facing the dogman, I barely registered its so-called terror-inducing ability. Yet here and now, I can almost feel my heart climb into my throat. I find myself looking back every few seconds to check on Eli. Why I do this, I have no idea. The child's footsteps thump loudly with the grace of an elephant doing ballet. If something were to happen, I would hear it. My attention snaps to the source, and I bring my hand near the iron dagger. I ready myself to retrieve it from its hiding spot on a moment's notice. I'm still. My muscles coil like a spring. My senses fine-tune as I search for the faintest sounds, and the smallest of glimmers.
Hello?
God damn it, Eli!
What? We're here to help them, right?
That doesn't mean they aren't dangerous. Moreover, it could be a vagrant of some kind. Announcing our presence isn't wise.
Gotcha. Never mind. We're just ghosts.
Are you trying to antagonize me?
Said the ghost.
Can you take this seriously? Hold on. Do you feel that? Eli looked at me slightly puzzled. The ground beneath me was a low rumble that was sending small vibrations up my legs. Eli realized what this meant around the same time as I. A bright light filled one end of the tunnel as the vibrations intensified. I didn't even have to say anything. Eli took off running in the opposite direction, and I followed. Without realizing it, we had already made it quite far inside. The train was closing in. I take a glance behind me. Transparent figures appear briefly before being mowed down by the train. Dozens of screams being cut off. A little further, we are almost in the clear. We can make it. A light appears in front of us. It's rapidly approaching. Images of the online articles flash before me. A train collision in 1880. Two trains, one traveling eastbound and one westbound. Eli and I stop.
What do we do?
Give me a moment. I look around and scan the environment for anything of use. Perhaps we could squeeze up against the walls? No, there isn't enough room. Is there a service door nearby? Of course not. The trains get louder.
Anytime, Lucian!
Well, shit.
What do you mean, well, shit? Do something!
What do you want me to do? Suplex the train?
I don't know. Fucking maybe?
I choose my next words carefully. Eli, look, there isn't a normal way out of this.
I don't have powers, Lucian. Plus, electricity isn't going to...
No, the walls. There's something I can...
What are you two doing? Now isn't a good time to just chat.
She's behind us. I didn't hear her approach. Then again, the trains are nearly upon us.
Get down!
She drops to her stomach and flattens herself between the tracks. Tracks? When did tracks appear? Moonville Tunnel hasn't had any in some time.
Would that even work?
I'm not sure. Maybe depending on the train or we...
What are you doing? Get down now!
Eli shrugs and drops to the ground. At this point, there isn't enough time to do anything else. I follow suit. The train speeds over us with mere inches between our bodies and it. My eyes instinctively shut. A few moments pass.
That was a close one.
I open my eyes. There isn't any sign of a train, let alone a collision. The tracks are once again gone.
You can say that again. Thanks for that. By the way, I'm Elijah Old Baker. You call me Eli, though.
Yes, you have my gratitude. Lucian Baker, who might you be?
Call me Lady.
What an interesting name.
That's the most manifested I've seen the trains. They were practically solid.
Quite. If I didn't know any better, I'd say they were real.
You've seen them before? What do they normally look like?
Transparent. Sometimes barely visible.
Well, whatever the reason, I'm just glad it's over. I'm sorry to ask, especially since you did just save our lives, but why exactly are you here?
I lost someone here.
Really? I was under the impression that no one died here in quite some time.
I don't think he's dead. I would have seen his face among the ghosts here if he had. I know he was here, and my hope was that one of the spirits could give me a clue of some sort.
You can talk to ghosts? Are you like a medium or something?
I wouldn't say I'm a medium. I can see ghosts, and if I can see them, then
Sometimes they can speak back. Problem is, most of the spirits here are residual, are they not?
Yeah, they don't acknowledge me, and get run over. I just can't give up, though.
I get that. It must be hard.
Perhaps we can help each other. We want to bring rest to as many spirits here as possible. For residual hauntings, the best shot we have is to break their pattern. If we do that, then they can move on. And perhaps, then they can answer your questions before they go.
I tried that in the past, but any attempts to save them failed. My hand would just go right through them. But tonight, the train was so real, which means they're more real, more solid.
My thinking exactly. Perhaps we should strategize elsewhere, in case the train makes another appearance.
Right. Let's get out of the tunnel at least.
You smell good. Is that flowers?
Eli, don't be weird.
No, it's alright. Thank you, Eli. It's my perfume. It was a gift before you. I wear it every day.
I'm sure someone knows something.
I remain quiet. We near the exit, but something feels off. Granted, it is night, but beyond the tunnel, it is darker than it should be. My heart skips a beat as the light appears in the unnatural black. It's dim and a soft, sickly yellow. Not a train. It reminds me more of a lantern. 2 more sources of light burn through the veil of shadows, like balls of fire. The Chillicothe men. Stepping out from the dark is a large man. The haunting glow reveals a twisted expression, his mouth agape, hanging low and barely connected by grayish skin.
Shit, I forgot about him. If everything is more solid, then this isn't good.
Eli, your dagger.
Right.
What can you tell us about him?
Okay. So he acts like, I don't know, a guard? I think originally his spirit wanted to warn people of danger, but over time, I think he lost who he was.
Okay. So we should be fine, right?
Doubt it. A spirit's form is a reflection of its intention. Lady, was it? Here, take one of my daggers.
I mean, he is solid now. Do you think that would work?
Worth a shot.
They're made of iron.
Wouldn't that hurt him?
Oh God, not another one.
Hey, I get it. I don't like hurting anyone either. But it won't kill him. Dad says it'll just disrupt them for a bit.
Even if I was okay with that, I'm not much of a fighter.
Ugh, fine, whatever. Stay here. Eli, let's go.
Right, I'll get behind it.
Perfect. I'll rush it head on. Remember, just like we practiced.
That was amazing. You 2 fight ghosts a lot?
Surprisingly, no.
Is that it? Is he gone?
For now. We should leave before he comes back.
Agreed. Okay, I think we're far enough away.
I agree. So, what's the plan? Again, I've never seen the spirits this constituted before.
That's probably our
For the
fault.
love of Eli! We don't fully understand it ourselves, but the general rule of spirits seems to be that the more a person has encountered the supernatural, the more real a spirit becomes.
I've been here countless times.
Encountering the same ones over and over doesn't count, I think.
And you 2 have come across a lot, I take it?
Oh yeah, even without Lucian here, I alone would probably have caused them to be, super real.
Hold on, I've had my fair share of experiences.
I didn't say you didn't. But I was able to see death and you weren't.
Alright, first of all, that one doesn't count.
Did you say death?
Uh-huh. It was super scary at the time, but there was this, zombie singer or something
Let's not get off topic. We have a job to do.
Right. Okay, so we could just pull them down onto the tracks with us. Let the train go by. That should break their cycle.
Do you think that's wise?
It would be a really slow way of doing it. Not to mention we risk slipping up and...
If we could avoid dying, that would be great.
What about your daggers? Would they work on the train?
It's an interesting hypothesis, but I doubt it. It needs to be proportional. A dagger can take down a man, but not a train. Even if they did, disrupting the cycle isn't the same as breaking it.
Could we stop the train crash?
Would that work? They obviously didn't all die by the same train.
No, they didn't. But I think being dead alters how you see time and the world around you. Do you know what spontaneous synchronization is?
Isn't that when metronomes that start at different times suddenly operate in unison?
Yeah, that's a good example. It happens in nature all the time. Like if you listen long enough to someone's heartbeat, yours begins to match theirs.
So the ghosts are synced up to what? The train?
It would make sense.
Okay, But how do we stop the trains?
An idea begins to form. One that not only deals with the problem at hand, but may be a useful tool against Eli later. Perhaps we don't have to. The collision was caused by an error in communication. I believe the trains themselves are an after effect. The true residual spirits are the two conductors, crashing into each other time and time again. If we were there to save even one of them, their respective trains should vanish. No collision, which in turn would break the cycle of the remaining conductor.
Causing the train to disappear. That would break the cycle of the ghosts on the tracks.
And with nothing to guard or to warn people about, the man with the lantern would also be free.
Even if we managed to get on a moving train, break the conductor out of his cycle, which we would only have one shot at, and we're right about all of this, what then? What happens to us when the first train vanishes?
We tuck and roll? It's not a perfect plan, I admit. Any part of this goes wrong and we will die.
I'm in. It's dangerous, but it's no less dangerous than trying to save them one by one. Plus, if our goal is to save them all, then we have to eventually deal with the train conductors anyway.
Okay, one last question. What about me? What if we succeed? What happens to the spirits? Will I have enough time to ask them questions?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I've saved a few wandering souls in my past. They linger for a few minutes before they move on.
That's not a lot of time.
Yeah. We could go back to saving them one at a time, if you want. It'll take longer, but...
No, it's okay. These people have suffered long enough. Also, if we take the slower option and you guys die, this is the best shot we have. I'll just ask my questions fast.
So it's settled. Follow me. I'll explain further on the way. I begin to lead us to the other side of the tunnel, going around this time. I explain that we would have the most time if we board the train that appears at the other end. I reinforce my logic by pointing out the fact that it is the only train of the two that seems to enter the passage. The other one simply manifested while already inside. They agree with my reasoning rather quickly, of course. Eli sparks up a conversation with Lady. The conversation itself is boring and of no importance. However, it is clear that Eli is trying to make connections, to relate to her as a person. I'll have to keep an eye on that. We arrive on the other side and perch up above the tunnel. All we have to do is wait. It is just as I'm about to ask Lady how often the train runs, do I hear it. Everyone get ready. Remember to jump as far as you can. It'll help disperse your kinetic energy. Don't jump straight down. As soon as you land, you will fall face first. That is fine. If you can roll, it'll help you gain control more quickly. Be careful not to fall in between the train cars. Once you have control, lay as flat as you can. There should be enough clearance between the train and the tunnel. Got it?
Yup.
I think so. Do you guys do this a lot?
Maybe Lucian has. This is my first time.
This is absolutely insane!
We don't have much time. This way. I crawl forward until I reach a gap between cars. Once there, I position myself around and slowly lower into the space. Once I have solid footing, I check the door. I enter and peek my body partway through. First, I help Eli until he is in the car behind me, and then I help Lady.
That was nuts. I can't believe we did that.
Yes, very exciting. Let's hurry.
We shouldn't be too far away from the conductor.
Lead the way.
It doesn't take too long to reach where we want to be as we cross car after car. I motion to stop us just before coming up to the engine room. Alright, here's the plan. Lady, Eli, you're not going to like this part.
And why wouldn't we like this?
I need to throw the conductor under the tracks.
I'm sorry. What the hell did you just say?
Hear me out.
No! That's so messed up! I get that he's already dead, but...
We have to break the cycle. There isn't a safe way or enough time to get him off the train. Residual ghosts can't be reasoned with. He won't even know we're here. If he dies in the crash, it's over.
So, we kill him before then?
Yes. You have a better idea? Then fine. I'm all ears, but whatever we do, we have to do it now.
But
There has to be another way. We can't really do this.
I didn't say we, I said I. Little one, I told you. If it came down to it, I'll kill so you don't have to. Plus, think of it this way. The conductor has already died. If we don't break the cycle, he'll continue to die over and over. It's not pretty, but this time his death will set him free. I won't do this if you tell me not to, but only if you can think of any other way. You two stay here. I'll throw him under between this car and the engine room. Be ready to tuck and roll, protect your head at all costs.
Get ready to roll!
We're not gonna let him do this, are we?
Now!
Eli? Eli!
Yeah. I'm fine. Lady, you alright?
I think so.
I think it worked. I didn't hear the second train. Good thing, too, I really didn't have a back.
What the hell is your problem? You didn't tell us the full plan. What you did was horrible. You just threw a man under a train. He felt that. You understand that, right? Ghosts feel each of their deaths. We had time. You could have waited another cycle and figured something else out. I don't understand how you could
Shut up and look around. Her anger fades to a simmer as her eyes trace her surroundings. All around us were people seemingly ripped from time. They stood, confused and unsure of why they were there. You better be quick before they move on.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, can I ask you a few questions?
Hey, Lucian?
What is it, little one?
I'm sorry.
Come again? What for?
I couldn't think of another way.
Pay it no mind. Shall we head back? I believe our work here is done.
Yeah.
Eli! Lucian!
Oh, for the love of what now? If you've come to yell at me some more, I'm in no mood. No, that's not it. Then what is it?
I got a lead on the friend I'm looking for.
Congratulations.
Problem is, I'll probably have to talk to some more ghosts.
What a puzzle. Well, good luck.
In order to do that, I'll need to encounter more supernatural stuff.
Oh, hey! We do that all the time!
Eli.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You guys clearly don't need me for the fighting and jumping on trains part.
Nope,
but
absolutely not.
Come on! It wouldn't hurt to have another person to help us.
Need I remind you, we already have our own missing person to find. We don't have time to track down another.
I'm not asking you to. I just need more experience. Just until I can interact with the dead as if they're solid. I'm not naive. My friend is probably... I just need to know what happened. But I have time. I'll help you with your thing, and I also think you need me.
Oh, do I?
Yeah. Clearly you both have different ways of doing things. Maybe next time we can find a way that doesn't involve murder.
Murder's a bit extreme, and it's we now, is it?
Lucian, please?
Eli's expression is hard. For whatever reason, this means a lot to him. Perhaps it's because they both share a soft-hearted nature. Or perhaps Eli is desperate to make a connection to more than just me. No matter the reason, if I fight him on this, I will surely create a rift between us. I can't guarantee your safety.
I'm okay with the risks.
I mean it. If it comes down to it, and I had to choose between you and Eli...
Wouldn't have it any other way.
You'll have to train, and I mean every day. It won't be easy.
Nothing worth it is.
Lucian, come on.
All right. Fine.
Yes!
Just until you can interact with the dead, not a moment longer.
Okay, so heads up, our apartment is kind of small at the moment.
It's temporary.
Oh, right. Lucian used to be, like, super rich, and now he's, like, super poor.
First of all... Showrunners for this episode were Christopher George and Dalton Lewis. This episode was written by Christopher George. Script editing was done by Dalton Lewis. Sound design was done by Christopher George. Lucian Donahue was voiced by Dakota Hanlon. Lady was voiced by Lainey Lanenberg. Eli was voiced by Dalton Lewis. Ghosts were voiced by Christopher George and Dakota Hanlon. Original music by Nico from the Inky Paw Print.